Okay, hey there, Doomsday Preppers. Who knew it would actually come true? Anyhow, if you are a stoner and you maybe say like to take things to the next level with your gas mask bong, I'm going to show you how to turn this gas mask bong into a real gas mask with natural carbon filters. Now, first things first, you've got to look at your charcoal that you're using, the carbon content, and so forth. Every kind of wood, you want wood charcoal. You obviously don't want to use Duraflame or something that has match light, something that already has no lighter fluid, okay? Just um, keep the wood burnt charcoal. Now, if we're using MSPN, MSPN is important. Um, and if you don't know what MSPN stands for, that's just moisture. Okay, that's basically the moisture species production, um, or the moisture content. So we are using the wood species production method, also known as MSPN. Now for this you use earthwood. You can use any such species of burnt wood, Wallaba, Cantabali. That ranks third at 66% moisture. You want some moisture to come in so you can still get your oxygen, and also to make a carbon filter out of charcoal, you need to be able to have a little moisture flow through there from the research that I've done, indicating that earth mound moistures like certain wallabies can be 5.8 to 6% moisture, which is pretty good in charcoal. Um, that's why those ones without lighter fluid on them are so hard to light. Now, portable steel skin moisture can be different. Oak is 3.5%. Coconut, if you were going to use coconut shells, which you could, you're going to be around 4% probably. And if you do that, all you have to do is break them up, burn them in a pit, bury them, take them out. I'm not going to do all that. I'm going to show you how to do it with a bag of charcoal from Vallarta. This is the sort of charcoal you want to be using. And basically it's just wood burnt charcoal. It's wood that they made into coal to cook food with. Now you're going to want to get inside your bag and you're going to get the finest piece of charcoal. I'll show you in a second. You know those old socks, call them quitter socks, where they just don't quite hold up right at the ankle? They always just kind of fall down. They're worthless anyway. So we're going to use one of these old socks. It's clean, but it's just too loose around the ankle. Look at that. It's ridiculous. Now we're just going to take an average pair of scissors and we're going to go toward the bottom of the sock. We don't want too much fabric here, and I'll show you why later that'll come into play. But I like the toe of the sock because it's going to hold your charcoal better. So you want to go about 2.5 inches up and cut the sock tip off where the toes would go in that section until it looks something like this. Almost like a miniature puppet you can put on the tips of your fingers. Hanes, nothing else feels so right. This is what your typical piece of wood burnt charcoal is going to look like. So obviously, you just mash it up with a hammer, it breaks off relatively easily. I'll show you in a moment. Once you've broken it up, your hand will look like Santa Claus went down the chimney, but you'll also have these finer pieces. This is charcoal, high in carbon and moisture. Wood burnt, again, do not use the stuff with lighter fluid. Now comes in the tip of the sock again. Take the inside of it, you take your little piece of charcoal, they're real small. You fill them up. They don't have to be too small. I'll show you in 1 second. And they need to look just about like this right here. Hopefully you can see that alright. See that? Look. Just like that. That's where your toes will go. Doesn't matter how small they are, really. Now that's in your sock. I want you to twist your sock very tight like that. And crush it some more in your hands. If your hands don't, you're crushing. If your hands don't feel strong enough, simply use a hammer. Just be careful. Alright, now I'm going to wash my hands off real quick and show you the next step. Now what we're going to do next here is seal up our filter. You can use a lot of things. You can use a hair tie, a twist stick, cheap tape like this. All you're trying to do is take that open end you cut and just tie it off. The end, rubber band, twist tie tape, whatever, hair band, whatever you use, it'll be sealed. Like it's not coming out. Okay, next step I'll show you in one sec. But let us first explore the intricacies. You see that cup inside underneath the goggles? That's the inside of the gas mask. You want to make sure that stays airtight, but you also want to get your filter in there. So you take your now sealed filter and you place it in like this. Now if you can see this here, there's a little plug. You can see this plug. Remove that plug. That's just to get extra air in the mask. We'll go over that later in a minute here. Stuff it under there. Be like so. You don't want it too big. You want it covering just where the respiratory vent is on the thing, on the mask rather. See that? Maybe. Maybe not. Take a look. It's in there. Procter & Gamble sealed. I'm going to leave room for your chin right there. And then coming up, that's the air valve mask. We put that outside of the filter for now. And I'll show you why in a minute. Number one thing with gas masks is they need to be very tight against your face or they simply will not work. Now, we're going to add some protective measure just to kind of cover your face so you feel a little bit more comfortable. We're going to take our scissors, same pair of socks. We're going to cut down where the quitting, where it will be on your ankle, where I call it a quitter. Pull it, you tug it, you just cut a little bit of fabric off. So we just cut a simple piece of the sock. Just this. Nothing elaborate, nothing fancy. Super thin enough where we can double it over a couple times. It's about that size now. Now you're going to take your face mask. You can see where our filter is. You can see how I've used the outside air chamber, and we'll get into that later, to go underneath, to hold it rather in place over tightly, the charcoal filter. See that? That's carbon right there. You need a carbon filter to kill this disease, this coronavirus. Now you might not want your face turning out with a bunch of charcoal on it. That's what this is for. You're going to shove it in here like this. Get it over. Wrap around just the face mask area. Kind of just with your fingers like that, because this part is this part's just very superficial is what I meant to say. You want to get it in there pretty good though so this thing fits airtight. So it's all like that now. It's all inside this suction cup for the mouthpiece and the chin guard underneath. Everything's tucked tightly inside. In between the filter and the little, vanity mask over the filter is this bad boy, this little clip, which is actually a release for the oxygen. This part I'm going to show you. Open that, and the goggles start to fog up. You need some fresh air, but don't open it if you're in public and still in danger where you could be harmed and catch viruses. You want to open that, when you're in your car or someplace safe. Now our mask is made. It looks nothing more than the same from the outside. The only difference is this naturally made. Let me open this up real wide for you. Pull the straps out of the way. It's naturally made filter right there. That carbon and that charcoal content, that's gonna keep the virus out. And then this cover here, just keep your nose and mouth nice and pretty. Okay? Next thing's next, we're gonna try this bad boy on. Place the straps on like you would. Get it nice and secure. Tighten them to your needs. This here, that's just a necklace basically. It'll keep the mask on you if it falls off. And so when you breathe, you want it to be nice and tight like this. If you gotta tighten it more on the back, you do so. There are little levers on the strap. You should hear an audible clicking. I don't know if you can hear that audible clicking, but every time you breathe out, that's the mask relieving pressure. Now this will fog up your vision and your eyes and so forth. It will be more difficult to see. But you'll be safe. And then when you're in a safe place that is quarantined or air-free, you can always let your fresh air in. It's going to have to travel through the sock, but not the same sock that has the charcoal in it. Oh, and you can take deeper breaths of air now because you're not in a quarantine zone. And even when you are, your goggles will fog up. But not to the point where you can't see anything at all. It'll just be a little bit difficult. And the life you save might be yours, or it might be somebody else's that you never even thought might catch this virus. If you don't have a mask like this, you might be able to order one online or go to a head shop and find them where they sell bongs and so forth. The bong's made to attach on the outside. What I've done is made inside filter that I've been working on for quite some time now on the patent before I made this video. Patent pending now. Everything written down. It's hard to, I won't lie, it's hard to breathe in any form of mask, as you probably know if you've worn any at all. You can do it. You can do it. You can keep yourself and your loved ones from catching the coronavirus. Peace to all. Stay safe. I love you. God bless. I hope this helps. In the end, you might kind of look like Darth Vader. Also, don't forget to put gloves on before you go out. Don't forget, I'm your father. I'm your father. Subscribe and like today for more tips on survival. This is Kyle, out.